Welcome. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Hello and welcome to the Grolier. On behalf of the Grolier, we are delighted to welcome back long-term friend of the Grolier, Forrest Gander. We are also delighted to welcome the legendary poet, Jeannette Lozano Clariond. All the way from Mexico. Both of them will read from their beautiful new book, Even Time Bleeds, which you can pick up tonight. Before we begin, please silence your cell phones. Thank you. And without further ado, welcome Forrest and Jeannette.
Well, I like that brief introduction, and I love reading here. This is so in geology. One of the denser minerals is corundum. It's like right before you get to diamond, and this is like the corundum of the poetry audience. It's like this is where I want to be. Okay. Vamos a empezar. ¿Quieren decir algo?
No.
Okay. So we'll start right in. This is a selection of Jeannette's poems. Jeannette is one of the most highly regarded Latin American writers, not just in Mexico and also in Spain. She's really well known, and she has a broad body of work that covers a vast aesthetic range. So this selected poems covers some maybe five books of hers with just parts. So you'll get a feeling for her work, which is all about a feeling. ¿Quieres empezar en español?
Okay. ¿O quieres tú empezar en inglés?
Sí, eso es lo que hicimos. Okay. ¿Qué página? Mina. ¿Es Mina? No.
Sí.
Yeah. 1004 Mina Street. Burning. I saw my grandmother burning. August, Chihuahua, 1963. She burned without and within. Burned at 1004 Mina Street. I watched my father wrap her in a sheet, the mattress on fire, the curtains, the carpet, her dress, carbonized. He gathered everything up. Don't make a sound, he said. Your mother's exhausted. I saw him in mourning that August afternoon, in his black tie, ashes, and weeping he gathered it all up. The smoke of my grandmother's flesh lingered in the hallway, while my aunts went on sipping bitter clots of coffee. I needed to rub away the stinging darkness, to rinse out the salt, the weeping, to be held, and to stifle the tremor of passage. I listened to Paul Anka, and for want of a heartbeat, I gouged a scratch across that 45 RPM record. For brief moments, I lived. For brief moments, everything went purple. The woman who was gone, the fatigue, the poplar leaves. Afterwards, through the viewing glass, through the clear plate in her cedar casket, I made out her scorched visage, cured with smoke. As for my own mother, she burned in a different way. Tears snuffed out her smile. Fix my hair, she'd tell me. Let me go outside to check if the clothes are dry. I was terrified of the thought that her slow footsteps wouldn't return, of the leaf's suppleness, of a stealthy gnawing inside me, of the brittle weight of ivy missing its supporting wall, of the vase in the kitchen, minus the flowers. Of that blind room with its death, I was terrified, and of myself, and of the divvying wind that dragged off the dust of the sycamores.
Mina 1004. Arder. Yo vi a mi abuela arder. Agosto, Chihuahua, 1963. Ella ardió. Su fuera y su dentro ardió en la calle Mina 1004. Vi a mi padre envolverla en una sábana. El colchón ardía, las cortinas, la alfombra, su vestido ennegrecieron, todo lo recogió. No hagan ruido, su madre está cansada. Lo vi de luto esa tarde de agosto con su corbata negra. La recogió, ceniza y llanto recogió. El humo de la abuela en el zaguán, las tías sorbiendo ásperos los grumos del café. Había que borrar lo oscuro que dolía, disolver la sal, el llanto, abrazarse y sofocar el temblor del viaje, escuchar a Polanca y en la falta de pulso rayar el disco de 45 revoluciones por minuto. Por instantes vivía, por instantes todo fue púrpura. La mujer, el cansancio, las frondas de los álamos, después el vidrio en el cedro, el rostro quemado bajo el humo. Ella, mi madre, también ardió. En lágrimas su sonrisa apagada. Arréglame el pelo, me dijo, déjame salir a ver si ya está seca la ropa. Tuve miedo de que sus pasos lentos no volvieran, de la tersura de la hoja, del sigiloso carcomer, del reseco peso de la hiedra ya sin muro, del florero en la cocina sin flores, de ese cuarto ciego con su muerte tuve miedo, de mí misma y el filtrarse del viento que se llevaba el polvo de los sicomoros.
Do you want to take your coat off? I'm worried you're going to get really hot.
Thank you.
This might be a moment where you take the coat off. Chloe, you good?
Why not, man?
Because we're going to heat the place up even more.
There's always fire in the room.
Yeah. That's you?
¿Qué página?
117. 17.
Forrest, any chance you could say the page number?
Yeah, sure.
That'd be great.
We're going to read 116, 117 next. Vacío. Esta vez pasa. Empezar.
Vacío. No, no fuiste amada. ¿Acaso traspasado tu cuerpo? Temblaron tus labios, se estremeció tu piel, pero no, no fuiste amada. Ardió el sol, ardió solo el árbol en el centro de tu vida y en tu lecho amaste, mirando palidecer la luz de otra mirada. El cuerpo, al cabo, vencerá al amor y al sordo rumor de las perlas vestirás un mismo luto.
I love the line breaks in this poem. Most of you won't be able to see them until you get the book, but you'll see how they break the meaning in a profound way. Empty. No, no, you were not loved, though your body may have been pierced. Your lips trembled, your skin quivered, but no, you were not loved. There was a tree burning at the center of your life, and in bed you found what you loved, was watching the light fade from someone else's eyes. It's the body in the end that triumphs over love, and along with the muffled murmur of pearls, you'll come to wear your mourning.
pages 96 and 97. You want to start?
Okay. This was published as a cantata by the National Auditorium of Spain a couple of years ago. Naked, I waited for you. The dust was almost audible. Light throbbed through the Venetian blind slats as you waited for the galley to arrive. Glitter floated over the waves, oars on the shore. But did the boat arrive or depart? Almost everything glowed. Almost everything. Where was the willow's reflection in the pool? A bird went on singing despite the predictions. A quiet saffron wind settled into the meadow's night. Then it was you entering the room, you passing through the air. Naked, I waited for you. The bathtub brimmed with desire. The tree leaned toward our window. I recall the soft dampness of touching blue tiles, a porcelain light falling over our bodies. Then the flame at rest. Blind, we sank into the linen, into a friction that could only complete our abandonment, as when swans return to the ice.
Desnuda te esperé. Apenas se oía el polvo, latía la luz en los intersticios de la veneciana, y tú esperabas la llegada de la galera. Flotaba el brillo en el oleaje. Remos a la orilla. Llegó o se fue la embarcación. Casi todo resplandecía, casi todo. ¿Por qué el sauce no se reflejó en la alberca? El ave sí cantó a pesar del vaticinio. Callado viento de azafrán habitaría esa noche la pradera. Eras tú entrando en la habitación, tú atravesando el aire, desnuda te esperé, la bañera rebosaba deseo, el árbol inclinado, la humedad suave del tacto, los azulejos, la luz de la cerámica en los cuerpos, luego el reposo de la llama. Ciegos nos hundimos en el lino, roces que colman el abandono, cuando al hielo regresan los cisnes.
Isn't it good in Spanish? So nice. And that's the thing that makes the translation so hard, is not the semantic meaning, though that can be complicated with her syntax, but it's the meaning of rhythm and sound that all of us, even before we begin to pick up semantic meaning, are understanding something from just sounds and rhythm. And yeah, that fascinates me. I think poetry is so embodied.
Shall we go to 5 and 74, or do you want to do some Amonides? Not yet.
Maybe not yet.
Okay.
And you want to skip the pound?
Okay, let's do pound. What page is it?
That's 124.
124.
And last time you skipped the second part.
Okay, just 1 and 3.
Okay.
You want to do the first part?
Okay.
Okay.
Vamos a empezar aquí o aquí? Oh no, that's this one. Okay, that's what I'm doing.
Sí, ese.
This one.
3 devotions, sí. Es que puede ser el primero y luego este y este.
See, okay. This is a nice poem to read in this bookstore because Ezra Pound got books from Grolier when he was in St. Elizabeth's, where I hope none of you will have to be.
If we have not yet been
Yeah,
there.
3 devotions for Ezra Pound. Piercing. The river flows on, but not your voice. Your words in that mirror of your mind confuse the flower for a lesion. A flood can whirl in every direction like a frightened mare, but the river never returns. Just for an instant, maybe, your eye pierced the veil of the real.
Tres piedades por Ezra Pound. Rasgadura. Fluye el río, mas no tu voz. Tu palabra, espejo de inconsciencias, llama herida la flor. De anchuroso caudal, yegua blanca es el tiempo del aluvión. Pero el río nunca vuelve. Por un instante tu ojo rasga el velo de la realidad.
The burning snow. If I say gorgeous, I'm not alluding to you, god of language, nor to some indigo elf in the pond. If I say gorgeous, I'm speaking of the light in your eyes, and of the way they tracked beauty as it floated on the lake, of the black swans that know the solitudes of love, the solitudes of longing. I'm speaking of love that shimmered in this very room, of some old silver on the credenza in an old house, because time spurs the shadows within us to speak. I've lost the habit of feeling shame. My desire shoots through the veins of foliage. What's to come, waiting for the ice, long winter nights, and crackling logs besieged by cobalt flames.
La nieve arde. Si digo bello, no hablo de ti, Dios de la lengua. Tampoco del elfo añil en el estanque. Si digo bello, hablo de la luz de tus ojos que han visto la belleza flotar en el lago, del cisne negro cuando nombra las soledades del amor, las soledades del dolor. Hablo del amor que en la estancia resplandece, de la plata vieja sobre la consola de una casa vieja, porque el tiempo hace hablar en nosotros las sombras. He perdido el hábito de avergonzarme. Mi deseo va hacia las penas del follaje, después esperar el hielo, largas noches de invierno y el crujir de leños sitiados por el cobalto de la flama.
Próximo, ¿qué quieres?
Pasamos a... Tengo esto, todavía no.
Ok.
¿Ansel Kiefer?
Sí,
¿Es Ansel Kiefer?
y después esto.
Sí.
Okay.
¿Qué página es?
As 40 and 41. So that's the next one. There's a number of poems connected to Paul Celan in this book, and this is one connected to Celan and some Kiefer. ¿Quieres empezar?
Ansel Kiefer me escucha. Dice verdad quien dice sombra, Paul Celan. Una brizna de cobrizo marfil, su cuerpo sepulto en tiáis. Flores trágicas derraman su ceniza sobre la sorda reminiscencia del musgo. Tus libros recogen las páginas apiladas en el sena de Jeannette, la correspondencia del astro con el azul nevado del campo, desde donde te miro elevarte en esquirlas de humo. Los sarcófagos tiñen el fango, charcas rojas velan los cuerpos y la negra leche del alba te conduce hacia el fin. En el vasto espacio, el tallo del tulipán alza su fuego. Mechones, murmullos de arcilla, árboles de purpúreos troncos caen en un orden extraño. El cáliz de la amapola enciende el prodigio del suelo de Sulamit, y tú, detrás del agujero en el lienzo, ásperas, rugosas, espesas capas, los campos de girasoles en Barjac, y más abajo, la serpiente. La máquina no se ha detenido. Sulamit bebe la negra leche, cava hasta desenterrar el temblor de la arboleda, araña muy dentro del corazón el odio, los surtidores de ceniza, pero ahora has desanudado la azulina cabellera de la amada. Tu boca entre sierpes, tu lienzo nos concede la confidencia de la roca transida de estrellas, el fragor calcinado del mar. Contra el fondo bronce, tu cascada de oro, Margaret, puede aún rescatarnos mientras sigamos sostenidos de la sirga.
Anselm Kiefer hears me out. Speaks true who speaks shadow, Paul Celan. A blade of copper-colored ivory, his body buried in Thais. Tragically, flowers drop their ash over some vague reminiscence of moss. Your books bind together all those pages stacked up by Janae's seine. The correspondence of a star and the snowy blue countryside from where I watch you rising on wisps of smoke. The sarcophagi cast shadows into the mud, red pools overlie bodies, while the black milk of dawn leads you to the finish. In vast space, the stem of a white tulip hoists its flame. Tufts, walls of clay, trees with purple trunks assemble in a strange order. The poppy's calyx ignites the wonder of Shulamit's dream. And you, behind that hole in the canvas, taking in the stony, thickly carpeted fields of sunflowers in Barjac. And below the flower stems the viper. The machine hasn't stopped. Shulamit drinks the black milk, digs down to disinter the tremor below the grove. She claws open the rage in her breast, releasing fountains of ash. But now you've untied your beloved's bluish hair. Your mouth, encircled by snakes, your canvas offers us the conviction of a rock riddled with stars, the desiccated clamor of the sea. Against all that bronze background, your golden waterfall, Marguerite, might rescue us, as long as we cling for our lives to the rope.
Énfasis.
Okay.
You
¿Qué
wanna
página?
page 36 and 37.
Okay. Y después quizás poscanto en Amonites. O
Sí,
Amonites
y poscanto.
Sí, sí.
Muy bien.
Muy bien.
Amonites de la 92.
Okay.
Ok. Éfrasis. Cuando la incisión abra la herida, ¿quién pondrá sobre tu rostro los cálices embebidos en sangre? ¿Quién derramará el púrpura por donde te veo pasar camino al alba? Alguien será portador de los cuerpos. Me asomaré por la ventana y el sollozo reflejará el vaho como recuerdo en medio de los tulipanes. Nadie crece inmune a la desgracia, lo sé, ni el genio, ni el bosque, ni Dios. ¿Añorabas desde tu lecho la densa niebla en los Cárpatos? Ángel, déjame conocerte. Duerme lo más dormido de mi corazón, duerme. Tu mano no enturbiará mi tinta, duerme. No seque el humo el alba de tu rosa, esa rosa que no es de nadie. Puedo sentir tu anhelo de presencia. Lo que sale de las bocas de los otros semeja largos filamentos de esa rosa cercada por las llamas. Traducirte, vivir más cerca de la roca. Yo también voy cavando la fosa. Con la palabra sigo cavando en el polvo de los huesos ese espacio ausente y sus labios de ceniza. Muy pronto también yo me habré ido. Duerme. En cada vocablo se entreabre el alma de las cosas.
Ekphrasis. When the incision reopens the wound, who will set aside your face, the blood-soaked chalices? Who will, excuse me, I need to start that over. Ekphrasis. When the incision reopens the wound, who will set beside your face the blood-soaked chalices? Who will cloak you with imperial purple? Who will cloak with imperial purple the casket in which I see you on your way to the next dawn? Someone will haul the bodies. I'll lean from the window, and my sobbing will ricochet through the mist like some memento lost in a cluster of tulips. No one grows immune to misfortune. I know. Not genius, not the forest, not even God. From your bed were you dreaming of that heavy Carpathian fog, Anshel? Let me know you. Sleep now in the quietest chamber of my being. Sleep. Your hand can't smudge my ink, so sleep. And I'll keep the smoke from blurring the dawn of your rose, that rose which is no one's. I can feel your yearning for presence. What escapes the mouths of others looks to me like long filaments radiating from a flame-encircled rose. Translating you, I live ever closer to the fissure. And I too go on digging the pit, taking up the word I dig and keep digging down through the dust of bones to an absent space lipped with ash. Soon enough I too will be gone. Sleep. With each vocable, the soul of things comes clearer. Yeah, which one?
He dicho.
Pero esta es the long one. Sería mejor hacer el principio.
Okay.
In page 8, 9?
89.
8 and 9.
8 and 9. Okay.
So we're on page 8 and 9, and this is a sequence that's actually cut all the way through the book. It divides sections of the other books, and it's from a book of hers called Ammonites, Ammonites, and it nicely, the book sort of ends with it circling back to the beginning, which takes the form of the Ammonite. You all know what Ammonites are, right? No, some people don't. Okay, sorry. Ammonites are those fantastic fossils that were of a kind of snail. And so it's this big circular shell is what's preserved in the fossil record. And they were around back in the Ordovician, and were some of the biggest creatures on Earth at the time. In fact, so I have a degree in geology and I'm a fossil hound, but the biggest ammonites I've ever seen were with Jeannette in Mexico in this little museum in the town she lives in, and they were like this big. They were just gigantic. I was so envious. So should we go one by one?
Yeah. Qué intolerable el mundo si no pudiera ser pensado.
Intolerable the world if it could not be thought.
La poesía es destierro al origen.
Poetry is exile to the origin.
Más importante que la creación, la asunción de lo creado.
More important than creation, the coming to terms with creation.
Era el peregrinar su morada, su linterna.
Pilgrimage as lived place, its lantern.
El ritmo pausado de la luz moviliza la raíz.
The slow rhythms of light mobilize the root.
El hallazgo, esa invención de lo vivido.
Discovery, the invention of the lived.
Aunque tarde, la palabra encuentra su destino.
Even late, the word determines the dole.
La sombra, sin su límite, ardería.
A shadow minus its limits would burn off.
Por empatía, colocar el tiesto en sano sitio.
Out of empathy, placing the pot in a more scenic spot.
En la tiniebla, presiente el fulgor del astro.
In absolute darkness, she feels the stars blaze.
A la orilla, somos llevados por la llaga.
It's the wound that ferries us to shore.
Al escuchar el límite, reconocerse en él.
Listening to the limit, then recognizing yourself in it.
Logré hacer de tu ausencia mi morada.
I succeeded in making your absence my residence. And then we'll finish with this poem, which is the first poem in the book, which concerns the tragedy of femicides in Mexico.
Poscanto. Mi cuerpo cae en el agua. Mi cuerpo ha sido violado, mis restos arrojados a la ciénaga. Yazgo en el fondo del lodazal. Permaneceré en el fango, soles, lunas, oscuras profundidades. Amén. ¿Dónde el verdugo? ¿Dónde está él? La tinta se seca cuando quiero escribir la estela de rostros lacerados disolviéndose en la sal. Los miro, me miran. Cada cuerpo forma un racimo de humillaciones sobre el limo. Desde la infinita soledad, donde la infinita soledad que suavice los pliegues de sus pies, las piernas de estos cuerpos desmembrados con sus estigmas y su humillación. ¿Qué más puede escribirse de estos gritos, asfixias, cuyos ecos se escuchan bajo el agua en donde yazgo yo también? Yacemos en la entraña del lodazal. ¿Cómo nombrar el espanto que desgarró el cuerpo de estas mujeres? ¿Qué decir de los mordiscos sangrando en sus pechos? Que además de las lilas ultrajadas, permanece en el camino de sus huellas. No hay tumbas, no hay huesos, ni siquiera ceniza. Por la mañana el ave canta desde la alambrada, de donde cuelgan las ropas manchadas de 3 niñas desnudas. ¿Quién cubrirá sus cuerpos? Han regresado al vientre, cabezas adheridas a sus vientres, sus ojos vendados. That's the way. Sueño sus caras como el preámbulo de una desesperanza sin fin. Las horas se acaban sin que pueda dar forma a mi dolor. El tiempo también sangra.
Post canto. So my body sinks into the water. My body, raped, its limbs slopped into a swamp, to lie in muck at the bottom, anchored there in the murk, while suns and moons pass over forever and ever, amen. And the executioner, where is he? The ink clots when I try to write of that wake of lacerated faces dissolving in the swamp. I stare at them, they stare back, body after body, bouquets of excruciations nestling into the clay. What infinite loneliness begins to soften the creases in their feet? The legs of these dismembered corpses with their stigmata and shame. And what could ever be written of the screams and the choking that still echo faintly beneath the water, where I find myself as well, in the belly of the muck? How to speak of the terror that tore each of them apart, of the bleeding bite marks on their breasts? What, besides outraged lilacs, remains along the paths of their footsteps? There are no graves, no bones, not even ash. In the morning a bird sings from a barbed wire fence, from which hang the bloodied clothes of 3 naked girls. Who will cover them? They're fetal again, their heads tucked toward their tummies, their eyes blindfolded. I dream their faces as the preamble to an endless despair. The hours expire and still the words remain unformed. Even time bleeds.
Thank you, Forrest. Thank you, Jeannette. Let's give them another round of applause for a wonderful reading. This is a beautiful book. Everyone can get this book here tonight, although we do have a limited number of copies left. I want to thank everyone on Zoom. Thank you very much. Thanks to all of you here tonight. So good to see everyone. Here is a shameless plug for this new magazine my wife and I just started that Forrest and Jeannette both have poems in. It's called Duck. We have a limited number of copies here tonight. And we have some books for sale. Authors will be signing copies of books. Thank you so much for coming. Please put your chairs up against the wall. I'd be very grateful.
Wonderful. That was